Begging hell no. You stare him down and spit right in his face pure, unadulterated disrespect. This dude goes full psycho, grabs a Louisville Slugger, and is about to turn your skull into a sidewalk smoothie. The bat is mid-swing. But wait, freeze frame. You're probably wondering how you got this cooked. Let's run the tape back. You're a certified deep cover ghost. You survived the DEA's meat grinder torturous conditioning, hair trigger tactical ops, the boring legal crap, and the art of playing house with international cartels. Now, you just need a mission to prove you're the baddest mofo in the game. Finally, fate throws you a bone. Your mission, slide into a notorious cartel. You need a cover story that's bulletproof. So you land a gig as a grease monkey at a shady-as-hell chop shop, the goons' favorite spot to pimp their rides. The owner, a total saint. A man of the people, who was so moved by your sob story he almost cried. Or maybe that was just the $500 you slipped into his pocket. Capitalism, baby. You spend a week blending in. Then the target rolls up. You don't rush it. You're playing the long game. While you're under the hood, you're actually scoping out their vibes. Then you hit gold. The big boss is a criminal with a code. Doesn't punch down, hates thieves, and is an absolute messy fanboy. Round 2. You set the trap. You accidentally flex an autographed Messi jersey in front of the crew. The boss's eyes light up like he just saw the Messiah. He tries to buy it on the spot. But you're a gaslighting pro. You tell him it's a gift from your dead pops, totally priceless. One of his flunkies, a total meathead, with more roids than brain cells, loses his mind at your audacity. He lunges at you screaming threats about turning you into a fresh statistic. But the gentleman kingpin shuts him down. This is it. You pull an Oscar-winning performance voice, trembling, acting like a scared little punk. You stammer out a deal, beat me in a 1v1 on the pitch, and the jersey is yours. The boss ego through the roof smirks and takes the bait. Hook, line, and sinker. 2 days later, it's showtime. Both of you are running like your lives depend on it, but you're a pro at the long con. At the climax, you pull a clumsy stumble and let him sink the winning goal. You sell the pain so well, you deserve an Oscar handing over the jersey with a look of pure soul-crushing defeat. The boss with his weird-ass code of honor actually feels bad for you. He says you've got game and invites you to join his Sunday League crew. Jackpot. Between matches and cold ones, you're basically his new bestie. One night you fake being blackout drunk and drop the emotional nuke. You confess through fake sobs that your mom is dying and your shop wages are straight peanuts. The kingpin with the heart of gold bites. He lends you the cash. You take it acting all grateful and pathetic. A week later you double down. You're playing like a zombie on the pitch. When he asks what's up, you have a full-on meltdown. You lie through your teeth, "Mom's dead. Treatment was too late." You scream that in this world, poverty is the real serial killer. You weaponize his guilt. You beg him to let you roll with his crew. You tell him you don't care what he does. You just heard he's filthy rich. He tries to back you off. He drops the truth bomb. He's a professional eraser. A hitman. Every day is a coin toss with death. He thinks this will scare you. But you look him dead in the eye, bloodshot and manic, and tell him, in this society being broke is the same as being 6 feet under. Then you go full psycho. You start slamming your forehead against the concrete until you're bleeding out screaming that if he doesn't take you in, you'll just finish the job right there. Terrified by your crash-out energy, he folds. But there's a catch. You're just a spotter, a sentinel. He swears it's low risk, just watch for the feds or rival crews. And the kicker, he promises to help you get out if it gets too heavy. You happily accept. You're in. Big day. Your official debut in the corporate underworld. Thanks to your elite training, you're basically the LeBron James of spotters. You've got eagle eyes and ears like a bat. You're so damn efficient, it's stupid. The captains are losing their minds, and word of your Employee of the Month energy reaches the regional manager. The big boss calls a meeting. He's eyeing you like a fresh investment. The mission: infiltrate enemy turf and bring back the tea. Success means a seat at the big table. Your mentor, the messy fanboy, is low-key panicking, giving you the don't do it headshake. He even tries to throw shade on your name, telling the boss you're a scrub who will mess everything up. But you're hungry. You play the ambitious rookie, ignore the warnings, and promise results. The manager smirks. He thinks you're a rising star. That night, your mentor crashes your room absolutely livid. He screams that you're speed-running your own funeral. He offers you a way out, a new ID, clean slate, a one-way ticket to Ghost Town. But you go ice cold. You tell him you want the bag. You want the power. You tell him you've spent your whole life losing because you were broke. He walks out defeated. As the door clicks shut, your brain starts to glitch. You were trained to think these guys were heartless NPCs, just monsters in human skin. But this villain has more soul than half the law-abiding citizens you know. You slap yourself hard a reality check. You remember rule number 1 from the academy. If you start catching feelings for the target, you just bought a one-way ticket to a pine box. You're sliding into enemy territory feeling like a discount James Bond poitil. But the second you cross the line, your spidey sense goes haywire. Every random pedestrian is giving you the death stare. Before you can even pivot, those dudes turn into Olympic sprinters and swarm you. Crack! A heavy thud to the dome and it's lights out. You wake up to a face full of ice water. The lead goon grabs your hair asking if you're ready to chirp you little rat. You lock eyes and hawk a loogie right onto his nose. Big mistake. He takes that Louisville slugger and snaps your leg like a dry twig. You scream bloody murder. But your brain is still firing. You realize if they knew you were just a low-level scrub, you'd be taking a dirt nap already. They wouldn't waste time on a Q&A. They think you're a high-value asset. But hey, newsflash, there's no Hollywood ending in this script. So you decide to go out with a bang. You tell him you've got intel. He leans in expecting the keys to the kingdom. You whisper, "Your wife's a 10 out of 10 in the sack, by the way." He goes full tilt. He swings for the fences, aiming to erase your face from the map. But right as he's about to cave your skull in, boom! A massive explosion rocks the building. The bat slips, shattering your shoulder instead of your brain. White-hot agony, but you're still breathing. A flunky bursts in screaming that they're under siege. And then it hits you. There was no mole. You weren't special. You were just the bait. Your boss leaked fake info just to get you snatched. While they were busy playing doctor with your bones, they let their guard down. You were never a rising star. You were just a cheap piece of meat thrown to the wolves to keep them busy. The torturer dumps you like a bag of trash and bails. You hear the world ending outside, but you're clocking out. The pain wins, and everything goes black. Between the fever dreams and the agonizing pain, your instructor's voice is on a non-stop loop in your skull. Catch feelings for the target, catch a bullet. You wake up in a strange room, wrapped in gauze like a budget mummy. You figure your side won, mostly because the ceiling doesn't look like the pearly gates. As you're processing the trauma, your mentor walks in with his crew, sporting that annoying "I told you so" smirk. He asks if you've learned your lesson yet. Then he drops the plot twist. The same roid-raging meathead who wanted to cave your chest in at the shop was the one who pulled you out of the rubble. Without him, you'd be a 5-star buffet for the worms right now. He tells you to shut up and heal. Lucky for you, nobody pays attention to the broken guy in the corner. You spend your recovery leaking intel to the feds like a broken faucet, all while playing the part of the grateful survivor. 2 months later, you're finally off the crutches. The boss keeps his word, you're officially promoted. You're an enforcer now, a certified hitter, one step closer to burning the whole house down. Everything's quiet for a while. Too quiet. Like the world is holding its breath before the beat drops. The inevitable finally drops total. Gang. War. The rivals start blasting and you're tossed onto the front lines. This is your golden ticket. With your elite training, you could John Wick these amateurs in seconds with nothing but headshots. But your brain hits the brakes. A rookie doesn't fight like a god. A rookie fights like a cornered rat. Time for another Oscar-tier performance. You go full amateur hour. No technique, just pure suicidal rage. You charge in screaming like a banshee, spraying your piece at the clouds and taking flesh wounds on purpose just to sell the bit. It works. The manager is so hyped on your main character energy that he praises your bravery in front of the whole squad. You're prized a promotion to a new unit under a captain who's a grade A psychopath. And plot twist, this new boss hates your mentor's guts. For 6 months, this guy makes your life toxic AF. He gives you the literal shit work and orders that make 0 sense. But you're a pro. You use some basic psychological warfare to win over the boys, which only makes your captain hate you more. Then the hammer drops. News breaks that your mentor is getting publicly axed for treason in 3 days. The captain brings receipts. A photo. It's supposed to be your mentor snitching to the enemy. But looking at it, it's a joke. The resolution is so potato quality, it could be Bigfoot in a tracksuit. It's a blatant frame job. But nobody says a word. You quickly realize the dirty truth election season is coming up for a new regional manager. Your mentor is too popular with the employees, and the current big boss is terrified of losing his throne. Turns out hood politics is just as slimy as Washington, D.C. Execution is T-0. You've got the recordings, the literal receipts proving the manager and his lapdog captain framed the whole thing. But you can't just leak them. Do that, and you're a dead man before you can even say justice. You need a plan B. Not a plan based on truth, but on pure, unadulterated chaos. You remember the golden rule of the yard. When the mob roars, the suits start shaking. For 6 months, you haven't just been scrubbing toilets. You've been a gaslighting machine. You've been whispering in every grunt's ear that the mentor is innocent, that this is a political purge, and they're all next on the chopping block. That tiny seed of doubt is now a wildfire. Execution day. The yard is a powder keg. The mentor is on his knees looking like a human punching bag. The captain levels his piece for the kill shot. That's when you pull the pin. You don't draw a gun. You draw a line. You scream from the back. Show us the original files. That photo is Cap. What? That's the spark. The men you've been brainwashing start chanting, "Receipts, receipts." The noise is deafening. Soldiers aren't aiming at the mentor. They're aiming at the sky, demanding blood. The manager sees his own army about to flip. If he pulls that trigger now, he's got a full-blown mutiny on his hands right before election day. Sweating bullets, the manager lowers the captain's gun. He does a corporate backtrack on the spot. He claims that in his infinite mercy, he'll spare the traitor. But the mercy is a bitch. The mentor is stripped of his rank, his honor, and his name. He's now a ghost, a level 0 slave, meant to clean up everyone else's literal shit. You saved his life, sure. But when you lock eyes with the manager and the captain, you see nothing but pure, concentrated venom. They know you're the one who pulled the strings. No proof, but they've got a long memory. You just won the battle, but you've got a massive bullseye painted on your back. It's Judgment Day for cartel politics. Every manager and wannabe boss is summoned to a secret lair to pick the next regional kingpin. Shockingly, your mentor gets the invite. Even as a ghost and a social pariah, his clout is just too big to ignore. And like a proud dysfunctional dad, he picks you as his only ride-or-die escort. You hit the scene and see the final boss for the first time, a dude radiating pure, "I will end your bloodline" energy. The meeting goes behind closed doors. Your mentor slides in, leaving you with the boring-ass job of watching the hallway. Or so they think. As soon as the coast is clear, you slip into a blind spot and whip out a high-gain contact mic, the kind that can hear a spider fart through 6 inches of concrete. You pop in the bud and listen. At first, it's just the usual corporate blah blah about market share and elections. But then the vibe shifts. The big cheese mentions something that turns your blood to slush. Next month, they're dropping the motherlode. The biggest shipment across the US border in the history of the game. Your heart is doing 180 BPM. You're seconds away from hearing the exact GPS coordinates. The boss says the route will be thud. Thud, thud. Heavy boots in the hallway. Shit. You abort mission, stash the tech, and snap back to your post just as a guard rounds the corner. You missed the map, but you got the what and the when. That night, you drop the dime to the agency. The fuse is lit. The war is officially on. Time to sell the last scrap of your soul. You know your mentor, the good captain, is a total lightweight. The guy has the alcohol tolerance of a toddler, so you play the dead mom card. You invite him over claiming it's her birthday, and you need a brother to help you drown your sorrows. The poor guy with his heart of gold shows up with a bottle and a shoulder to cry on. Classic sucker. You start pouring heavy. Between fake tears and toasts to Mama in Heaven, you start the surgical interrogation. You're like a pro gamer playing 4D chess-tucking questions about the cartel's logistics between stories about your tough childhood. He gets absolutely hammered, and his filter just evaporates. He spills the whole tea, the exact desert corridor, the milk trucks that are actually rolling pharmacies, and the literal blind spots where Border Patrol takes their coffee breaks. Then snap his brain clicks back online. He realizes he just leaked the nuclear codes. He grabs you eyes wide with terror and tells you to bury this deep if you don't want to end up in a shallow grave. He stumbles out shaking. You've got it all. For a second, you feel like a total scumbag for betraying the only dude who actually gives a damn about you. But then your instructor's voice screams in your head, if a spy starts catching feelings for the target, he's just pre-ordering a one-way meeting with the big man upstairs. 0 hour. The convoy slides across the border like they own the place. But barely 3 miles into Uncle Sam's backyard, the trap snaps shut. It's a total wipeout. Before the bosses can even blink, they're face down in the dirt. They don't even know who sold them out. Then your real boss steps out of the shadows, the DEA big dog. He gives them the Empire's choice. Serve the stars and stripes or get deleted. The big boss tries to negotiate. Blam! A 9mm reality check right to the dome. Message received. Plata o plomo, Uncle Sam edition. Your sadistic captain, that spineless cockroach, doesn't miss a beat. He's on his knees swearing fealty to the flag faster than a kid in homeroom. Gringo agent smirks. He just installed his new puppet kingpin. The agent hands you his piece. Your turn, son. Time to erase these demons. Your hands are shaking like a leaf. You can't look at your mentor. He's right there, kneeling in the mud. You just go full savage on the loyalists. You're dumping the mag, screaming and cursing, just to drown out the screaming in your soul. Click. Click. Empty. You chuck the dead gun and draw your own sidearm. Just you and the mentor now. He looks at you totally resigned. You take a breath aim for center mass and let it rip. One shot. He drops like a stone. Mission accomplished. The agent claps your shoulder. Solid work, agent. The US of A thanks you for your service. God bless America, right? You're now the official bagman between Uncle Sam and the new Puppet King. The liaison between so-called justice and organized crime. The envelopes are sealed, but you don't need to read them to know the game is rigged. The product keeps flowing. It's just under new management now. You realize the DEA didn't want to kill the dragon. They just wanted to put a leash on it. You aren't a hero. You're just a glorified janitor cleaning up the mess so the suits in DC can keep their hands clean. That betrayal burns like cheap tequila. The torture, the broken bones, the blood on your hands, all of it just to become a disposable tool. But then the bitterness turns into ice-cold ambition. You're done being a pawn in their war on drugs. It's time to flip the script. And to play your own game, you need the only partner who actually gives a damn. You drive to a bottom-tier slum, far from the Fed's radar. You walk into a room that smells like damp walls and game over. There's a figure on a rusty cot, fast asleep. You draw your piece. You aim straight for his chest and bang, the noise is deafening, but there's no red mist, no brains on the wall, just the smell of gunpowder and a whole lot of smoke. Blanks, baby. You smirk, holster your iron, and say, "Rise and shine, old man. I'm here to collect that messy jersey you owe me." That's a wrap for today. What's your take? Is our boy finally gonna find his slice of paradise, or is he just taking the express lane back to hell? Drop your theories in the comments. I've got more deep dives into the shady side of society coming your way. Smash that subscribe button so you don't miss the next drop. Catch you on the next one.